Now that Monster Hunter World is considered completed, meaning that there's no longer any new content being developed or added to the game, what Capcom have kindly done for us peasants is they've added all of the event quests to be permanently available quests. These include limited time collabs, partnerships, and just generally awesome quests that are absolutely worth your time. Looking through all of the events quests, there are a ton of activities for you to participate in, which might be pretty overwhelming and leaving you wondering which ones are worth doing. Don't you worry, that's what we're here for. This is going to be mid to late game, so if you've just recently joined Iceborne and you've been cracking through the quests there, this is going to be appropriate for you. If you're still in high rank or even low rank in the base Monster Hunter World game, watch the first video before this one, going over all of the event quests you should do early in the game. I'll set a YouTube card that'll pop in the top right hand corner of the video player, and I'll also put it in the description for you. My name's Light It Up Dan, and on this channel we cover action RPGs, roguelikes, and MMOs to name a few. With that said, let's get to it. I'm gonna start us off with one of the coolest looking weapons in the game. You know what I'm talking about, the Wyvern Ignition Greatsword. So badass. I do believe, if I'm not incorrect, that this is actually a fan-created design too, which is even cooler. To get a hold of this weapon, you're going to have to participate in the Every Hunter's Dream event. This is a 5-star Hunter rank 8 quest, making it a low rank quest. However, the reason I'm mentioning this is you have to do the first one initially before you can do the later ones to get the higher tier versions. This first quest is pretty straightforward. You have to fight a Powerlumu and then a Rathalos, both in low rank. Powerlumu can be a bit of a pain when it's flying around with all the wind pressure as well. Some flash pods to knock it down when it's up there, or if you clutch claw onto its face and fire it down into the ground, then it won't know what hit it. Generally speaking, if you're able to deal enough damage whilst the monster is airborne, you're gonna ground it anyway. Low rank Rathalos shouldn't pose too much of a threat, just be careful of the fire and of course the poison from its tail swings. Some antidotes on hand or a cleanser booster should see you through this though without too many difficulties. After you've taken them both down, you will be rewarded with a Master Craftsman's blueprint. You're going to need a couple to be able to craft the first version of the Wyvern Ignition Greatsword, so hopefully you were lucky and you got 2. If not, then simply do the event quest once more and understand that the game does in fact hate you. Either way, you're going to be doing this a few times because you're going to need another 3 to upgrade it on the next tier. If you're finding yourself low on fire cell stones like I was, just take yourself off to the Elder's Recess, hit up the mining nodes, and if you do it in Master rank, you've got a pretty good chance of grabbing some. Any investigations you've got with a mining upsurge or gathering point upsurge is going to be super useful for that too. Once you've upgraded the Steel Wyvern Ignition Greatsword to the Impact Ignition Greatsword, that is the second one, we're going to want to eventually be able to upgrade it to the third one. We're going to need the Black Eagle blueprint, which is also going to get us a super dope charge blade. This brings us to the second event quest we want to cover today, which is Every Hunter's Dream 3. This is a 3-star MR9 quest, so you're going to need to be comfortably into Iceborne already. And boy oh boy, are these monsters fun. Okay, that's pretty harsh. Nagakuga is pretty dope, but Nightshade Powerlumu can honestly suck it. Giving you a front row seat of what it's like to live with narcolepsy, Nightshade Powerlumu is going to constantly be putting you to sleep. Unlike me, it might be wise to have sleep resistance 3, so you're just completely immune to sleep and you don't need to worry about it. Alternatively, energy drinks will help, and you can of course use your cleanser booster as well. Unlike the previous quest, these are both in the arena at the same time, so it makes it a lot trickier than the first. Nagakuga is very fast moving and will inflict a lot of bleeds on you, so be ready with Astera Jerkies or a cleanser booster, or give yourself some bleed resist. You can use the gate in the arena to fence off one of the monsters so you can focus on one at a time. And don't be afraid to play multiplayer. Multiplayer is so fun. Fire off an SOS flare, get some people in, and tackle it together. After smashing these two, you'll be rewarded with a Black Eagle blueprint. As I just mentioned, you'll need this for the final upgrade on the Wyvern Ignition Greatsword, and it'll let you craft the Black Eagle Charge Blade, which is super sick. This, like the Greatsword, can also be upgraded to Rarity 12. The upgraded one enjoys a lot of purple sharpness and then a lot of white sharpness after that too, meaning it stays at the higher multipliers for damage for longer. That aside, it's just one of the best looking charge blades in the game. Like, you need to get this weapon. Up next, we've got a 3-star MR7 very raunchy quest, 50 Shades of White. I'm pretty sure they called it this because you're gonna get f***ed. This is one of the absolute best event quests for you to really focus your time on and to get farming. It allows you to craft some of the strongest and most beautiful pieces of gear in the game. The Guild Palace weapons. These for me are super reminiscent of Final Fantasy Ultimate weapons throughout the series. They are just so cool. There's one for each of the 14 weapons in the game, they all come with a defense bonus, and they're all pretty damn hard hitting. And they can all be upgraded to rarity 12 too. But first you'll have to face off against a very formidable monster. Barioth is really tough, very mobile, and has a lot of very strong attacks. You'll be charged at a lot and subjected to many an ice blast. Coming into the fight with 20 or more ice resistance is going to be super helpful for your defenses and survivability, and will make you invulnerable to ice blight as well. These are the sorts of hunts where your clutch claw is pretty much essential, so make sure you use it to send the monster into the wall, and try where you can to get a mount as well. Personally, I really enjoy doing this fight in multiplayer, so I love firing off an SOS flare and getting people to join in. That way we're in it together. Whether we get the Guild Palace weapons, or we get f***. After you've defeated Barioth, you'll get the Fest ticket which you can use to craft the Guild Palace weapons, and you'll also get all the other materials that you need in this one quest alone. That's super great because you can just do all of your farming in this one quest. You don't need to keep deviating to other missions. Not to mention that you'll get some pretty nice decorations out of this as well. I've crafted a bunch of them myself, but like my first character, I want to get all of them. Up next, I've got another way for you folks to grab yourself some armor spheres. This is only if you're really struggling for them, because by this stage you're probably rattling off bounties, and if you're just doing steamworks whenever your natural fuel is full, you should be getting quite a few. Balloon Fight is a 2-star MR6 quest that takes place in the special arena. Facing off against a Paolumu and Nightshade Paolumu at the same time is going to be a bit of a pain, but similarly to the previous quest with the Nagakuga in, if you take some anti-sleep precautions, you should be okay. Alternatively, you can just do what I do and get put to sleep and smashed. You can also use the Nightshade Paolumu to put the regular Paolumu to sleep, which will help you just focus on one. Call in some friends, fall asleep together, and use the Dragonator. After you're done taking them both down, you'll be rewarded with a bunch of hard armor spheres, and hopefully, if you're lucky, a heavy armor sphere as well. This quest also provides bonus HR and MR, helping you to increase your ranking. This will be particularly useful if you are upgrading a bunch of different armors, and I can see how you will go through them. For me, I've been sticking to the 2 event armors, the Oolong and the Astral ones that you get, which has just meant that I've been able to focus on cracking through Iceborne, and I've not been using too many of my spheres up. If this list of missions hasn't made you question your life choices yet, here's one more. When the Swift Meets the Raw is a 3-star MR9 quest in the arena, where you can farm for some decorations. If, like me, on my new character, you still haven't reached Hunter rank 50, you can't go and farm the Greatest Jagras, unfortunately. You're gonna naturally get some really cool decorations just by playing through Iceborne, but a lot of them will be the 4-slot ones. This mission's got a very high chance for getting the Ancient Face Stones, and a pretty good chance for getting the Warped Face Stones too. This in turn means you'll just have a better chance of getting better decorations. Tigrex is a super rough fight. The monster is relentless. Again, you're gonna need to be using your Clutch Claw, you're gonna want to get mounts as much as possible, and I would highly recommend doing this quest in multiplayer. Just being able to have a little bit of breathing room for the monster to target something else for a bit really helps. After Tigrex, you have to face the Nagakuga. Thankfully, you don't have to fight them both at the same time. Again, Nagakuga's bringing the bleeds, so if you've got something to deal with that, you should be okay. That's not to say that it doesn't hit super fast and super hard, so definitely make sure that you're on your guard. After defeating both of them and questioning your life choices up until this point, you'll be rewarded with a bunch of decorations. The Greatest Jagras is probably the best one here still, but you do need to be Hunter rank 50 for it. With that mission, you can just get a bunch of common decorations within a few minutes by having it spew them up. However, if you actually defeat the monster really quickly by capturing it or slaying it, you can actually get rarer ones too. And with that, friends, those are my mid to late game events for you to go and farm, and hopefully that's not been too overwhelming, but it's given you a good amount of events to focus on. Let me know how you get on in the comments, and if there are any other event quests mid to late game that you absolutely need to check out. If you enjoyed the video, you can subscribe for more action RPGs, roguelikes, and MMOs, but until next time, I'll see you in the new world.